What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for the now semi-routine NBA playoff market update. What I've been doing the last couple Fridays is kind of doing more of a deep dive into the current NBA market prices with players actively playing in the playoffs and those that have recently left us in the playoffs, with a few little other things thrown in here and there. So today we will continue that, diving into market movers. Link in the description down below, along with coupon code to get 20% off. And smash the like button while you're down there. Subscribe if you haven't. And let's go ahead and dig in. First up, let's start with Ja and Zion. I was just kind of curious. I've been tracking these two to just kind of see how their prices have been hanging. Zion almost down to $400, sitting at 420. Ja down to 235, getting close to 200. This is both base Prism. I'll be curious to see if either of these drop below those price points. Does a Ja base Prism get below 200? And does a Zion base Prism get below 400? I ran this chart back to May 1st. From May 1st to June 10th. So I actually went a little bit further back on this one rather than the last week or so. And actually, in the last couple days, you could see the chart actually took a little upturn. Zion actually got down to 406, and then it bounced back to 420. So it's almost kind of like people were like, all right, if it hits, it's funny. You can kind of see this happen a lot of times around these big round numbers like this, where there's probably a group of people somewhere that's like, okay, if it gets to 400, we're buying. And then they bought, it spiked back up to 420, and then we'll see where it goes from here. You can actually see that happen a couple times. Here it dropped down to 406, and then it spiked up to 420, 430, 420, 407, and then it spiked back, or 405, and then it spiked back up again to 420. So it's kind of flattened out the last couple weeks. So I almost wonder if 400 is the floor or if it eventually blows through that. We'll see. Jaws kind of did the same thing. It dipped all the way down to 218 and then pulled back up to 235. So it didn't quite get to 200 yet, but it looks like it could be heading that direction. So over the last 40 days or so, Ja is down 20%, so not as big of a hit, but he was still playing in the playoffs where Zion wasn't. Zion down 34%. Once again, base Prism. So what I also pulled were the silvers, because I was curious. Same time frame, May 1st through June 10th, recording this Thursday evening, prior to the Thursday games. So caveat, as always, anything that happens crazy in the Thursday games, I don't know about it yet. So scrolling down here, we see Ja's Silver Prism, PSA 10, down 23%. Zion's down 28% compared to 18% and 34%. So not really holding up that much better than the base Prism, and in some cases slightly worse. Ja's slightly worse, Zion's slightly better. And I know a lot of people say, you know, low serial number stuff is still doing fine. I have an example of that upcoming with Luka. That stuff is just so hard to track prices on because not a lot of them sell, or they sell raw. Some sell PSA 9, some sell PSA 10. And if only 2 sell in an entire 30-day period, it's hard to judge a lot off of that. But I did pull one recent example for Luka for us to look at. So silver, not really holding up any better. But Josh Silver heading close to or under 1,400 now. Zion flirting with 3,000. Pop counts on these are pretty low, considering just over 1,100 on the Ja, just over 1,200 on the Zion. And I know a lot of people say, you know, go for low numbered stuff, etc. That's all well and good, but, and I keep meaning to do a deeper talk on this. It deserves its own separate video. Just because something's low pop or low numbered does not mean it's necessarily going to be more valuable than a more popular card like the silver. I get that it doesn't always make sense, but the market, the hype, the buzz, the sex appeal is what drives prices more so than scarcity and pop count. It plays a factor, but it's not the only factor. That's why you routinely see silvers outsell lower pop cards in regards to prices. Does that hold up long term? Nobody really knows. My theory is probably that the silver will be like the true rookie that you want for your above average collector. An entry level collector will go for base. I think the silver niches itself out as kind of like the one people want. A bulk of the market is going to want the silver. And then you have the numbered super low pop high end stuff on the opposite end of the spectrum for that crowd. My guess is kind of how that's going to shake out in the long term. Moving right along, Luka base Prism. This one's just a straight back 30 days. Down 20%, has dropped below $800, down to $780. With his recent exit, it has taken a little bit more of a downturn. On 6/6, for example, it was $865, and now it's down to $780 and continuing to trend downward. I'm guessing that continues for a little bit. I'll be curious to see where the bottom is on this card as well. Looking at his silver, same time range, last 30 days. I'm sorry, not the same time range. My fault. Let's talk about numbered stuff really quick. So what I found was, and there was only 2 sales, it's the only 2 I could find, of one of his more desirable and common, because it's out of 199, numbered cards. And that is his blue Prism. Kind of the king of his Prism rookie cards, in my opinion, because of the jersey match. Numbered to 199. This is in a PSA 9, Pop 49. Got all those numbers? One sold on May 22nd for $18,000. $18K, just under $18K. One sold June 3rd prior to elimination for $15,000. So basically a $3K drop, $2,800 technically, for 15.6%. So a decent hit on a card that size. Like I said, one has not sold since he got eliminated. I would assume if one went at auction now, it would go for less than that. So what I did was run his silver Prism chart for the same time range. And what you see, the exact same time range, May 22nd to 6/30, I'm sorry, 6/3, it basically stayed flat, a 2% drop, $125 change from $5,625 to $5,500 with a little bump in the middle. This is when they were looking good in the early part of the Clipper series, and then things turned bad. And then kind of rebounded as that looked good again and then looked bad again. So if I just go a straight 30 days back, you can see overall it is down 28%. Actually down more than the base Prism is. It took a little bit of a harder hit. So I don't know that we could draw a ton from the whole fact that, 2 sales happened. The Prism Silver basically held flat and the blue went down 15%. Not a big sample size, but I just was curious to find something to try to compare it to get kind of a feel for how the higher end's holding up. And it could just be of a case of, there's less of a market for those cards. Remember that. A Prism Silver PSA 10 for $5K has a limited market. A PSA 9 Blue for $15,000 has an even more limited market. And if buyers are scared off, they're going to be less likely to inject that large of sum of money into the system, is my guess. But like I said, I'm kind of speculating there. But this is one of his, that's the rookie card to have, in my opinion, besides numbered to 10 gold or stuff like that. National treasures, RPAs, immaculate, flawless, like that sort of stuff. Like of his normal non-RPA, non-auto rookie cards, I would say this is probably one of the premier ones, his Prism Blue. I don't know what it goes for in compared to like a gold, because those just don't sell very often. But the blue probably outsells without looking at any numbers. So I'm kind of just winging this here. I'm going to guess the blue probably outsells pretty much everything else other than like the sub 10 and 20 numbered stuff, just because of the jersey match. And it's just an absolutely sexy looking card. So like I said, I don't know how much stock I'm going to put into the fact that that dropped 15% and the silver didn't really drop at all in the same time period. Like I said, it's just hard to say when you don't have a lot of these sales very often. But what it at least shows is that the numbered market, the more ultra rare market, is also trending down the high demand cards as well. And like I said, his Prism Silver over the last 30 down 28% has actually taken a harder hit than the base has. Pop 2000 on this. So not crazy. Not super rare, but not crazy. So this is down to 4,500 now. And I assume keeps going. I'm going to guess this gets sub 4K if I had to guess. Maybe even lower. Moving right along, Trae Young has basically stayed flat. He peaked up a little bit after game one, went down a little bit, kind of went back up a little bit, kind of a little roller coaster ride here, but he's essentially stayed flat. I think the hype was building on him because people were assuming Embiid wasn't going to play, and Embiid looked just fine, really, surprising even to me. We'll see how that series plays out. Long way to go in that one. It's tied up 1-1. I still think the Hawks win that series. I know I've gotten a lot of crap on that in the comments, but it is what it is. I'm not going to change my pick just because Embiid looks healthy. A lot of stuff could still happen. One wrong misstep and he's done for the series. So we will see. But Trae basically stays flat on his base Prism. 4% change, really not much. 333 to 320. I'm calling that flat. His Silver, on the other hand, took a little nosedive at the end of the week. It actually was staying perfectly flat along with the base. And then one sold 6.9 right last night, right before midnight, for 1,400 over the one that sold previous to that for 1,800 the day before. Basically, one of these have sold each day. We have a 1,500, a 1,775, a 1,760, and a 1,400. So took a little dive there the last couple of days, which kind of pulled the numbers down. Ended up with a 16% drop, $275 drop. But in general, it's basically stayed flat. We'll see if that holds up as we move into the weekend. Probably a lot of that will be determined on whether they win on, I believe they play Friday night. Like I said, that's been one of the more fun series so far. I just recently, I won't fully spoiler this, but I just picked up a really nice Trae Young rookie card on Star Stock that I'm having sent home. So there will be a mail day coming soon. The price was well under eBay comps. We'll talk about it more when I get it. But it was too good of a deal to pass up, so I just pounced on it. Even if the price drops, I don't really care. It's a pretty nice card in my opinion. It's not like thousands of dollars or anything, but it was pretty nice. Pretty nice. I'm excited about it. Donovan Mitchell, one of the few guys seeing bumps. His stuff has been getting a run once again. We'll see how he plays tonight, recording this before the Thursday game. But so far, up almost 10%, $26 swing. Went from 320 to 350. And I don't know if it's on here. Yeah, some stuff actually closed higher than that. There's some 365s, 366s, 360s. And I thought I saw one that sold even higher, but I could be wrong. But he's trending up. He looked absolutely fantastic in game one. He looked like a monster. And I think they beat the Clippers, and I think them and the Suns in the Western Conference Finals is going to be an absolutely insane series. I think his stuff has room to go. I still have some of his stuff on Star Stock, and I have some of his stuff in the physical form, those ones I bought. Purchased 3 PSA 10 Prisms on Star Stock for low 300s. I sold one sold the other day for like 350, 360, and I still have 2 more on there that I'm waiting to potentially move. And I actually have a Optic PSA 10 as well on Star Stock. But Mitchell really looks like the real deal again. If he didn't prove it to you last bubble, he looked real good in game one. I'll be curious to see how they play tonight, though. Man, East Coast life with these Western Conference playoff games is rough. Let me tell you. And I get up at 5:30 a.m. for work, East Coast time. So there's a lot of those that end with a sleep timer on the TV, and then I like mindlessly wake up somewhere in the fourth quarter and look at a score and then fall back asleep. It's hard. It is rough trying to stay awake for some of these West Coast games. Embiid did get a little bump this week given his play. He got down pretty low. This is over the last 7 days. Went from 500 to 620, up $100, up 20%. I get it. He has looked absolutely fantastic. This feels like playing with fire. I am pretty risk adverse when it comes to stuff like this. There is no way I'd be buying Embiid. He looks absolutely great. Do not get me wrong, but I'll let someone else take that risk. I'll pass. I'll make a play on someone else. I'd rather have 2 Mitchell PSA 10 Prisms than one Embiid, to be quite honest with you. If you're saying spend $600 in this market, if I could get two Mitchells for about $50 more, I would definitely go that route. Way less risk than with that Embiid purchase. That could blow up in your face real easily. Leonard also seeing a nice bump as he played absolutely fantastic to close out the Mavs. It did tail back off a little bit, I think, with that Jazz loss, but overall up 20% in a 7-day period. That's a nice bump from 1370 to 1630. As he looks like an MVP candidate against the Mavs those last two games. And he looked really good in the first half of the Jazz series for the part that I could stay up for. And then Mitchell just kind of got him in the second half. So we'll see where it goes from here. But Leonard seeing a nice little bump, playing extremely well. I don't know that they could beat the Jazz. We will see. I think that's going to be an extremely close series, regardless of what happens. I do ultimately think the Jazz take it. Oh, the Giannis dip continues as the Bucks are bucking, basically. Started the week at 1950, ended the week at 1700, down 15%, $275 drop. This game is about to tip off as I am recording this. I'm finishing this recording right prior to that game tipping. They really got to win tonight. If they don't win tonight, this thing's going to free fall. Even if they win tonight, it's probably still going to trend down. If they lose tonight, Coach Bud might as well not even show up for game 4, to be quite honest with you, because he's going to get sent packing so fast. It won't even be funny. They might not even, well, they're already home. So if they would get swept, they would get swept in Milwaukee. I was going to say, if they lose in 5 in Brooklyn, they might not let him back on the plane. We'll see. But yeah, his stuff going down hard. Going with it, Durant still trending down, saw a little uptick towards the end of the week after it bottomed out at 4,200, ended the week at 4,500, but started the week at 5,100, down 10%, a $600 drop on his PSA 10 Chrome. I get that it's base. Flipping Steve did a great video on this the other day, and I might expound upon it. He gave me a lot of thoughts watching that video. You know, I get the base hate on the modern stuff. I really do. I get not wanting to pump a bunch of money into Luka or, you know, Zion or Ja or whatever. It pop counts plus 17K. But his Topps Chrome is an extremely tough grade. They are super condition sensitive. The pop on this is only 961. And I know KD rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but he's ridiculously good. You know, if this falls much more, I don't know. It may have hit the bottom. I'm wondering if they keep winning, if this 42.36 price ends up being the bottom. Because I think it is going to start ticking back up, especially if they sweep the Bucks. I just don't see how this card keeps going down. This just seems ridiculously cheap for his premier rookie base. I get that it's a base. I get it. But this feels like the hate went too far on this one. I'll be curious to see how this plays out in the long term and the short term, both. I was curious, so just for the hell of it, I pulled up his refractor pricing, PSA 10. Only pop 188. This is numbered out of 999. Last 30 days, 40,000 to 23,000, a 16K drop, almost $17,000 drop, 41%. It actually bottomed out here at 20K, and then it spiked back up to 23K. So once again, just because something's low pop doesn't mean that it's going to survive the drop. I'm real curious. Let's just do this live really quick. I want to compare his base and his refractor. Now it's hard to say because it's two completely different worlds. Like the people that are buying the base are not even thinking about buying the refractor most likely. But let's see. Let's run this back 30 days. Start point's not exact. Where'd this sell? 521. This is why I usually pre-run everything. All right. So 521 to 610. They both had sales on those days, so the charts line up really nice. And look at that. 40% drop on the Chrome base, 41% drop on the refractor. And that's 5 sales. So that's not nothing. So for the people that say buy the low pop refractor, low numbered stuff, I get it. But that stuff's taking a beating just as much as the base stuff is. down 40%, down 41%. I mean, the numbers don't lie. Maybe not everything's like that, but you're talking about a KD refractor numbered to 99 or 999. Sure, it was probably overinflated too, like everything else, but people act like the numbered ultra low pop stuff is going to hold better when during this dip, at least in this one particular case. Maybe I'm cherry picking here. I kind of fell into this in the middle of recording the video. It hasn't. It's right there with the regular base. It's going neck and neck with it. They're down practically the same amount, percentage wise, obviously. So interesting. That's very interesting. I did not catch that earlier when I was researching for this video. Like I said, I kind of stumbled into that in the middle of recording. Last one I wanted to look at really quick, Devin Booker. Obviously playing fantastic. Obviously look like they're moving on to the Western Conference Finals. Up 12% on the week, up $100 from 775 to 871. I wouldn't be surprised if this clears 1,000. We'll see, especially if they sweep that team. I really hope it's them and the Jazz. I really think the Jazz Suns Western Conference Finals would be absolutely fantastic. Hopefully Mike Conley can get healthy and they're full power. I would much rather see that matchup than Clippers Suns. And I think the more I watch, I think the Suns are coming out of the West. I've been high on them the entire playoffs. And other than the Chris Paul injury, I really like what I've seen out of them, assuming health. I really like a lot of their bench players. I like a lot of their role players. Crowder's the perfect playoff guy. I love Mikal Bridges. I love Cam Johnson. Booker's looked fantastic. CP3 just is, playing his floor general role. And I think they would give anyone out of the East a run for their money. Ayton's been a monster, an absolute monster. We'll see what happens. If that's the case, I can tell you right now, I didn't look at anything, but Chris Paul stuff's probably way too cheap. The career that he's had, if he ends up with a ring, if they can pull it off, his stuff is probably way too cheap. His stuff was not very expensive to begin with, relatively compared to other stars of his magnitude. He would be a very interesting one to look at. Maybe I'll pull up some of his stuff for a future video. Maybe we'll talk about him on Sunday morning. So that's all I got for you guys and girls today. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. If you want to check out Market Movers, the link's down there, discount code. If you want to go make any plays, the eBay affiliate link's down there in the description box as well. Probably no video on Saturday. I am going to go to the Hartville Card Show Saturday morning and see if I can make any action happen. And maybe I'll do a live stream on Saturday when I get home. So maybe a late morning, early afternoon, Saturday live stream. We'll see. Depends on how long I'm there for and what time I get home. I usually try to go first thing in the morning. I like to go first thing before they get busy. So, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Enjoy your weekend, and we will catch you. If I don't do a live stream on Saturday, we will catch you Sunday morning. Peace.